Uh, yeah, excited. Obviously, it's been a long journey to get to this week and a lot of unknown, and but here we are. So, unbelievably excited. I want to thank David Cloninger for asking me last week when we got together about health. Well, we had a guy break his hand, so Nathan Nelson has a broken hand, and he had a pin placed in the hand. So I got a feeling he'll be out for 2 to 3 weeks, and it's a shame because he was playing really, really well. So um, moving forward, Dave, I'd really appreciate it if we stay away from injury questions. You know, I, I'm gonna pull the Bill Belichick and never speak to you guys about that stuff again.
Dave, go ahead.
My fault. It's my fault. Blame it all on me. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Frank, obviously you had a kind of a rough schedule change there. You're expecting to play Northwestern. Now you play Liberty. How much did that change your scout for this week? How much have you been able to gather on the Flames since that game was announced?
Yeah, I mean, I listen, Dave. You hear all these people complaining about scheduling. Everyone that trusted in all these so-called mysterious bubbles that have no air in them, that have multiple teams from multiple leagues, and they thought that those were going to be able to get done the right way, was fooling themselves. And now for them turning around trying to say scheduling is a joke, no, they're a joke for thinking that they can figure it out. Every league has different testing protocols. Every state has different rules. For anyone to have thought that they can trust in these multi-team events and that they're going to run smoothly, they're fooling themselves. We stayed in the one we're in. I anticipated that there's going to be change, and I also understood that the fact that multi teams from different leagues, different testing, that there was a change, that something wasn't going to work the right way, and it is what it is. From a scouting standpoint, if it would have been a change from, we play Saturday. So if we would have found out Thursday night that we're going to play a different opponent on Saturday, that create a problem from a scouting standpoint. But listen, if we get a chance to play, I mean, Liberty's a heck of a, they've won 30 games 2 years in a row. Richie does a great job. If the end of the day, anytime we get to play a game this year, it's a win for our kids. That they put in the time, and mentally they get to do what they love to do. That it's we get to play a game. It's a heck of a day for us.
Colin?
Yeah, Frank, I guess 2 questions. First of all, how are you feeling after having COVID and kind of getting ready for this? And just what have you seen from Key Bryant and kind of the lead up to the preseason that he's had?
I feel good. I mean, it's ever since, because I went COVID and then knee surgery, bang, bang. And ever since after the knee surgery, so I don't know if it's after effect of COVID or it's just stress or whatever it may be, I've had a real arthritic flare up in my shoulders and my hands. And then I got attacked by alopecia, which is, you guys have seen, it's one of the reasons I got rid of my hair last week or 10 days ago or whatever. I got tired of trying to cover patches of bald spots all over my head. And so I just said, you know what, let's get rid of it. And if it is stress, and eventually it comes back, then we'll get the gel out again. But in the meantime, we got extra razors, and we'll go with that. But I feel good, and the worst thing I got is shoulder pain and a bald head because of my experience. I think I'm pretty darn lucky compared to what some other people have gone through. So I feel good. I'm full of energy, and I'm ready to go.
Key Bryant, what have you seen from Keyshawn?
Oh, that's right. I apologize. Keyshawn's taken a huge step forward as a player. He's playing really well. Keyshawn's one of the most intelligent guys on our team. I could play Keyshawn at the 1 without ever practicing him, and he knows what everyone else does. Now I'm not going to play him at the 1, but that's where his mind is at. But he's had a tremendous preseason. I really, really hope that he gets the year started the right way for him. For us, we need him to, but for himself, so he can get confidence and then take that next step as a player. But he's been really good.
Joe?
Good morning, Coach. Again, hope you're doing well. Good to talk with you. When it comes to Seventh Woods this season, just how do you manage kind of his expectations for himself to get him just to play and feel comfortable back in a college basketball setting and playing meaningful minutes once again after having to wait a whole year for this type of opportunity to play basketball again in college?
Joe, what are you doing on my call?
I made the time. I missed
I mean,
it.
I thought you threw in the towel on sports.
I thought I did too, but then I missed it too much and I had to come back to you.
I mean, talk about catch me off guard. Holy cow. I wasn't ready to deal with you to this morning. About all these guys with the softball questions last week. All of a sudden they bring in the news guy rather than the sports guy. Jesus.
And that's why I gave you a layup question right off the bat.
No, thanks for being on the call, Joe. Good hearing your voice. And I'm ecstatic for Seventh, man. He's an unbelievable guy, unbelievable kid. He's playing with aggression. That's the best word I can use. He's not being passive. He'll have a couple moments where he kind of gets a little. I use the word with him, casual. And every time he gets casual, he hears my voice in the background. He's a great teammate. He's had some really, really good moments in practice. He's been everything I expected him to be when he and I met and talked about coming back. And I think he's excited to wear that Gamecock uniform and go out and represent our team and our school and his community. It's really hard for me, back in the summer, it's great to say stuff and all that. Now we're in such game mode and team mode that, it's about the team winning. And I told the players the other day, the one thing that's going to be fun about this team is that I think every game, it could be a different name that gets credit for a positive result. Deep down inside, 2-3 years from now, I hope that I can sit back and smile because Seventh got the success he deserved at the collegiate level. He was a part of winning at North Carolina, and he had tremendous lessons there, and he grew up tremendously as a person. Now I want him to have, selfishly, I want him to have basketball success as a player, not just from a winning standpoint, but from a successful production standpoint. So, we'll see. The guys have made it. I told our team, which includes him on this, they've done their job. They've made my life really, really difficult headed into the first game over the week. Even though we play Wednesday, with it being an exhibition game, I'll still throw all kinds of lineups and all that in there. But headed into our Saturday game, they've made it really hard on me because we've got multiple guys past 5 that deserve to probably start. And I got to figure out how to manage that.
Mike?
Hey, Frank, I know it's kind of a vague question and outside of the obvious in terms of making sure you guys stay healthy and try your best with everything with the COVID situation. What do you think you guys have to do in order to be able to get that hot start that you guys, the last couple of years, it seems like you guys will hit a speed bump occasionally. I know you mentioned about maturity last year. What is it going to be this year in order to be able to get you guys going heading into conference play?
Yeah, I don't know what has transpired the past 3 seasons, to be exact with you, other than we've had inexperienced guards every single year. After the Final Four, we lost, I think it was Illinois State. We lost to in over in Myrtle Beach, which was unfortunate. And then the last 2 years, we just, we've had first year guards. And after the Final Four, I took a chance with Frank Booker and Wes Myers. And then we all know the story, no Rolf Elder and, and now Hassani and the whole deal. The story's been told multiple times. So early in the year, our guard play wasn't where it needed to be. Then the following year, with AJ Lawson and, TJ Moss's injuries his freshman year and Jermaine getting declared ineligible. And, now, Trey Campbell's also a grad transfer. So he's trying to figure me out. And, we lost a couple games. At the end of the day, we lost a good team. Stony Brook and Wofford went on to win a boatload of games, but still, they're home games that we got to figure out a way to win. And then last year, we got our tails kicked in Mexico, and that was a good lesson for us to learn. And then we actually played really well, and then lost that game to Stetson, first game after Christmas break. Which Stetson was a good team, but once again, no business doing that. So we got to figure out a way to get away from those. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, because it's we can't lose at home. Let's just put it that way. We got to win at home in non-conference play. When we go on the road, we're playing really good teams on the road. So we got to go nose to nose and go do what, give it our best shot. And that gets us ready for road games in the SEC. But we can't stub our toe at home like we have the last couple of years. We got to clean that up. And I got to trust in the experience of our team that they've been through it collectively with that same group of guards. That hopefully will handle all those moments better.
Michael?
Hey, Frank, thanks for doing this today. I asked Chuck this question a couple weeks ago, and he gave me an interesting answer, and I was kind of curious what you would say. And that's, for the casual college basketball fan, or for the casual Gamecocks fan who maybe doesn't watch you guys play every game, or maybe watched a handful of games last year, what do you think might go underappreciated, or might maybe surprise the casual fan about this team, about this group that you have? What's maybe not talked enough about this group that you have?
How good our players are. I mean, look what the other coaches did. They voted AJ preseason first team, Jermaine preseason second team. When's the last time that happened around here? It's Keyshawn Bryant, last 6-7 games last year, averaged 15 points, 9 rebounds a game. Justin Minaya, before he hurt his thumb, was a basically 3-year starter, because he started every game as a freshman, started every game as a sophomore, then got hurt his knee, and started every game last year until he hurt his thumb. And heck of a player for us. And we were rolling last year. That's the part that's a little disappointing to me, is that this group of kids has not gotten the credit they deserve headed into this year, locally and nationally. Now, I respect winning. I don't change my approach. I don't go in and say, I can't believe we're disrespected. Blah, 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 blah. You think the other teams we play care about that stuff? Winning any game is really hard. But I see the promotion that takes place for some of these teams around the country that lost all their good players, and yet we won 18. We won at Virginia, double figures. We won at Clemson. Louisville didn't win at Clemson. Duke didn't win at Clemson. We went in there and won double figures. But for whatever reason, when we win, it's because the other team is not as good. So we go in and beat Virginia at Virginia when they're ranked 9th in the country, and then everyone said, it's, they lost guys. They're not the same team. Well, last time I checked, that same group of guys are picked to win the ACC this year. We return our whole team. Yet no one speaks about us. And that's disappointing to me. But Michael, take my word for it. I don't get out of bed worried about that kind of stuff. I get worried about our guys, making sure they're doing the right things, making sure that I'm doing my job, making sure that our players are in the right frame of mind. I get worried about when I watch film and practice, and whatever I'm kind of pounding on isn't getting done the right way. Why It's not, connecting. But I wish our, I've said this for 8 years, Michael, I'm going to repeat it. The rest of the guys on the call probably get tired of listening to me say this. In the SEC, we got a problem where the local medias don't cover our basketball teams at this time of year, nor do they give credit to our basketball teams at this time of year. So then the national beat writers never, ever pick up on, wait a second, they might be pretty good in Columbia because, yada, yada, yada. And I wish more stories were written. How many other Power 5 schools returned their two guards that both averaged 13 points a game? One of which has averaged 13 points a game 2 years in a row, both of which were picked for the first team all freshman team. And, when they were freshmen, now does that mean we're going to win games? No, it don't mean anything. It just means we got good players. I wish that those kids would get the credit they deserve compared to other people around the country.
Mitch?
Frank, you talked about maturity with this team in the backcourt, and overall with this team. You come out the gates with two tournament teams from that would have been in the tournament last season in Liberty and Houston, and you talked about just not getting off to slow starts. How much of an opportunity is it for you guys to kind of create some momentum for yourselves? Obviously, you can't look too much forward this season, but those opportunities right in front of you with this experienced team.
Yeah, that's we put a schedule together, obviously before the whole COVID thing hit, where we felt that this year we had a team that we needed to challenge them. Just like last year. I mean, I believe in playing good teams. I believe in playing good games. I believe, some of the teams that are always ranked like number 3 strength of schedule in the country is because there's a group of about 10 teams. The television matches those teams up every single year. So they play amongst the top 10 teams. They play each other in non-conference play, and no one else gets to play them. So I can't play those guys. I've tried. I can't get them on the schedule. But we'll play people. It's just go through the non-conference slates that we put together. And this is no different this year. But, at Houston's going to be a hard game. At George Washington's going to be a hard game. Obviously, 2 games in Kansas City, Liberty, and then either TCU or Tulsa. Tulsa's a team that's always, Wichita State beat us like a drum last year, and Tulsa beat Wichita State. And Tulsa ended up, I want to say, third or fourth in the American in the league that they're in. So it's Jamie Dixon at TCU. He's rebuilt that thing where I guess last year was I don't want to say a down year, but heck, they just had a first round pick 2 days ago, whenever the draft was, Wednesday, and Desmond Bain. Clemson at home. I just spoke about them a second ago. For whatever reason, when Brad beats us, we're not any good. And when we beat them, then they're not any good. Yet they have winning seasons. We have winning seasons. They win in the ACC. We win in the SEC. But when we beat each other, it's never viewed as a good win for either school. So, we'll keep playing these games, Mitch, and challenging our kids because it's what we have to do. Because our league is really, really hard. The SEC, I don't know if you guys paid attention. I'm not a big draft guy. A great night for those kids that get drafted. They're being rewarded for their sacrifices, the whole thing. But I'm not big on watching the draft. But after the fact, once again, the SEC had more players drafted than any other league in the country. And which is a consistent theme year after year after year after year, and so it's winning in our leagues really, really hard. So I've got to schedule hard to prepare our guys for that 18 game jaunt that stares us down every single year.
John?
Hey, Frank, thanks for doing this. With Trey Hannibal, where have you seen him improved most from year 1 to year 2? And what has he shown you this preseason in playing maybe off the ball some more than he was accustomed to in high school and last year.
Yeah, he's his mindset's completely different. You know, some guys come in as freshmen, and when they don't have the success that they want or that people around them are telling them that they should have, they pout and they mope. And you know, he was the other way around. He came in when we all reported back from the whole 6-month COVID layoff or whatever it was. He was phenomenal. Like his mindset, his approach, his ears. And when I say his ears, because he's letting stuff go in there rather than shutting them down and everything bounces out. He's playing with better pace. You know, last year he tried to play 150 miles per hour in everything he did. And so he'd go make an incredible play, or he'd run himself into tremendous trouble because of how fast he was trying to do everything. So he's playing a lot better. He's got great teammates. He's competitive as competitive can be. His 3 best practices that he's had in a uniform here, not where he's made great plays. His 3 best practices, meaning he played the right way, most consistent, were all last week. And so headed into this week, I'm excited. He's got a toughness about him. He's got a great spirit about him. As he continues to connect all his God-given gifts with who he is as a person, by like I said, allowing information to go into his head and be able to process and grow. He's going to be a great player here.
Colin?
Yeah, Frank, you guys, a little off topic from this team, but you guys signed Taquan this week. Just how did that process work, and what do you feel like he brings to this, I guess, 2021 recruiting class?
Yeah, we recruited him some a year ago, even maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Time goes by so fast. A little bit more than a year ago. He's a guy we had targeted. But then when we took Javon Benson and Patrick, we didn't need a big in that class. And then when Patrick made the decision he made, whatever it's been now, a month or so, 3 weeks, I called Chuck Martin and the staff, and I said, all right, this just happened. So this kind of opens up a door. We need a big guy in next year's class. And Chuck said, you know, Taquan decommitted from Penn State. I said, well, we got to pick up the phone and call, because I liked him a lot. And we did. And it was a pretty seamless transition to go from his decommitment to us being an option for him right away because of the connection as people. He's a really talented, big old strong dude with great hands and great feel on how to play. He's got some of that Michael Carrera nastiness to him. You know, he plays differently than Michael, but he has that same loyalty. I would think all you guys that covered our team that remember the passion and the loyalty that Mike showed to that uniform every time he took the court. That's who this kid is. So he's going to fit, you know, in a great way with our guys and the guys that we have in place. Can really move his feet for a big old guy. I mean, he's 6'8", 240 pounds. Can really move his feet. So you know, people drag him into a ball screen or something, he can get out there and defend it, not be a liability defensively, and can really rebound the basketball. I think Taquan can be really good. I was a huge fan of his when we were recruiting him, and then we connect as people too, which is the part I get excited about. That's what I really like about this recruiting class right now. Which if you go back 3 years, you're starting to see that we've recruited guys that actually fit. Not only can they play, but they fit us too as people. That's why you haven't seen the defections that maybe you saw over a 3-year period for different reasons leading into the Final Four. I think we've done a better job of recruiting people that actually fit us, not just talent-wise.
We'll go 2 more questions for Frank, and then we'll bring in AJ in 7th. Dave, you're up first.
Frank, you mentioned the 18-game SEC schedule. How confident are you that everybody will be able to play 18, just considering COVID? I mean, Ole Miss and Florida have already paused activities just this week for the next couple of weeks. How confident are you that the league will be able to get all those 18?
Dave, I don't know why people are even making it a story when teams have to pause activity right now. We've been dealing with it for the last 8 months, and everyone knew, every expert said that there is a new wave coming at the end of November. Every expert. That's why Greg Sankey, I applaud him for being the leader that he was and making the decisions that he made to get our football season started when he did, so they can get those games in and still have windows to fill in case it was needed at the end of the season. And then, with our sport, there's been unbelievable attention paid to the fact that we've known, at least we haven't known, but all the experts told us that there's another wave coming at this time of year. That's why campus, President Caslin, the job he did in letting everyone know we're starting school, we're opening up the classrooms, but we're getting everyone off campus Thanksgiving week, meaning right now. That was done on purpose because experts were saying that right now this was coming. So we're going to have schools shut down. We're going to have games missed by players. I mean, that's why when I started the press conference, I said, anytime we get to play a game with our guys this year, it's a great day. It's a great day. And some schools are going to play let's just say league games. Some schools might end up playing 12, 13 games. Other schools might play 16. And then we once again, we opened up a window at the back end of the schedule so we can play makeup games to try and get everyone as close to 18 as possible. So it's just something we got to manage. You can't worry. Maybe I'm not smart enough to worry about tomorrow. I'm not. And I'm not into predicting the future. I'm just into taking advantage of today. It's the way I try to live my life. That's why, someone asked about the schedule earlier. All you guys gotten to know me pretty good already. I'm telling you, if I look at our whole schedule in totality, I'd probably go jump off the Sheraton Hotel downtown. Because I don't know how we ever win a game, because I understand how hard it is to win one game. And by the way, I haven't had a drink in almost 20 years. They got a great bar up top, the top of the Sheraton. I'd have one before I go off the side, but I just go day by day right now. And, and we started like this week, we're getting tested 5 times, and if there was no testing, we wouldn't worry about it until somebody had the sniffles. But with the testing, you don't know. I talked to a friend of mine that's a coach in the NFL, and their team had issues. And you know where their issues were coming from? Because their players are doing everything right. Their children at home were getting sick at school, but they were asymptomatic, and they had no idea. So then they're at home with their children, and they're getting sick from their children, but they're asymptomatic, so no one knows. And so we just got to take this one day at a time. And like I said, if we can get all 18, Dave, it's a home run.
And last question for Frank to Michael.
So this is somewhat related to what you're talking about as far as taking things one day at a time. I know you've talked a lot this offseason about sort of embracing change, embracing uncertainty, realizing that it could change at any second. You've already experienced it with the first 2 opponents. I'm just curious how throughout your coaching career and just throughout life, how you've sort of cultivated that mindset of just being in the present moment and also just what it's like to try to instill that in 18 to 21-year-olds, especially during a global pandemic. And with, I mean, you've talked about social media, how distracting that could be as well, and just everything going on in the world. How do you instill that present moment focus on this next game in kids, 18 to 21 years old?
Yeah, so the players have been around me for a while. They know that's who I am. I'm not trying to adapt to now. It's how I handle every day. Just my upbringing. Tomorrow was never guaranteed. We were excited that we had today, and and we didn't listen. The biggest challenge now with young guys, including my own children, social media. They got so many voices, and social media is so you get great information, but you also get over the top reaction to bad information, whether it's good or bad. Whether the information is positive or negative, you get over the top reaction to that. And young people are so impressionable when it comes to social media attention and reactions. That's become a lot harder to manage than it used to be. But I try to stay consistent to who I am. That way the players know, like, okay, I'll say it like this. It's like when you're in an airplane and you hit turbulence and everyone on the plane kind of grabs their armrests and tightens their seat belts, but the stewardesses, they keep going about their business. But when you hit turbulence and all of a sudden the stewardess gets on the phone and then they sit down and then you hear the pilot on the phone, that's when you better buckle up, and that's kind of because they go about their business normally. Then we should not be worried about buckling up in our chairs, because that's who they are and they're comfortable in that moment. So everyone else should be comfortable. And that's what I try to do. I try to be who I am consistently and not change because of turbulence. And our players that get around me, like this team, we got a bunch of guys that have been around me for 3-4 years now. They know that if I'm at peace with stuff, because I'm always communicating what I think and what I believe, that they can trust my voice and trust my vision and trust my words, and then they're at peace. So, but it's a never-ending story, Michael. I can't overreact to the fact that the day of a game I find out that we can't play because of us or the opponent. I can't overreact to that. We signed up for an unknown when it comes up. When it comes up for that. So I can't overreact. That way our players don't overreact. Will we be disappointed if a game gets called off? Of course we will. But if we get to practice the next day, we're all right. We'll figure it out. Everyone stays healthy and they stay safe from this virus. We'll be okay. We'll figure it out. And so that's just it's a mindset that I've created through my upbringing, where nothing's given, nothing's taken for granted, and tomorrow's there's not, you don't go to bed at night saying, yeah, we got tomorrow. You just kind of happy you got through today, and then let's figure out tomorrow when the day gets here. So, we gonna get on this journey here starting Wednesday, and away we go, and we're gonna ride this wave best we can, and for as long as we can. And I can tell you this team's fun. They're fun. They're fun to be around. I'm ready to see them play other people. They're excited about playing other people, and it's we've had 6 consecutive years where we've been on the winning side, and we've had really good success in league play. We obviously didn't have a chance at postseason last year, but we were a postseason team. And the 2 years before that, we were right there. One of those years we should have been in the NIT. I just don't waste my time arguing at the end of the year stuff. It doesn't make any sense. But so we're in a run where we've had success for the last, real success, the last 5 years as a basketball program. So where we go, man, see if we can, keep this ride going and make it fun, and maybe, maybe give you guys something positive to write for a change around here. You write all the negative stuff about me, but maybe we can get some positive stuff going about the old Gamecocks and our players and the way we play.
Thanks, Frank.